Toastmaster Club. In our meeting number
931. 931.
931. And today our theme is fueled by failure, and I am quite excited for it. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the charge to the captain of the ship, the someone who is a great Toastmaster and also distinguished, and he is none other Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster, Talabina. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sajid Atam, for opening the meeting. Before we move further, let me also clarify here that as a practice adopted by us and a lot of other Toastmasters clubs around the world, we do not talk about three topics in a controversial manner in this club, which is sex, religion, and politics. So anything that can offend anyone is basically forbidden. So welcome to this meeting of Karachi Toastmasters Club. After a long time, we are holding a hybrid meeting, or at least trying to hold one. And it is once again a refreshing experience to come back into Beach Luxury Hotel and to be in the same familiar room that we were in before. I welcome you all, and I believe, are there any guests today?
Yes, we have.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to switch between virtual and in person. So yeah, but we'll get used to it. So we have a guest today, Mr. Faizan. Would you like to come here and introduce yourself and how you learned about Toastmasters? Please come forward.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Faizan Al-Hikrish. By profession, I'm an SEO content writer, and my field of education is digital marketing. I learned about Karachi Toastmasters when I was searching for public groups where we can practice our public speaking and English language. So I actually learned about Karachi Toastmasters in 2020. The corona pandemic has just started, and I was willing to join a public meeting, but it just turned out that Toastmasters has stopped having public meetings due to the lockdowns. So I had to wait for a year to get a chance to come in person to the Toastmasters to practice and to meet like-minded people who enjoy public speaking. This is my small introduction for the Toastmasters. Jazakallah.
Thank you so much, guest Faizan, for a wonderful introduction. As we can all see, Faizan seems to be a budding public speaker already in his very first appearance at Karachi Toastmasters Club. So yes, this has been a dilemma for a lot of people. When we switched online, a lot of people thought that it was not worthwhile to attend unless it went back in person. And again, everybody has their own preferences. But let me tell you one thing for the benefit of everyone. Those who stuck to their guns and those who adopted and adapted to the online format, they continued their journeys, and they've gotten to a point where it doesn't make a difference to them whether the meeting is online or in person. So yeah, life throws new experiences at us all the time, and I believe it's best to adapt to them. But that said, we hope to have continuous hybrid meetings in the future, depending upon a lot of factors. So it's all good. Okay, yeah, I've been told that mask is, yeah, I'm socially distant from everyone, so yeah. I was already socially distant, but I'm physically distant too now. So before continuing on with the meeting, I will invite our VP Education, Toastmaster Imran Rana, to conduct a business session. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, our 930th meeting was quite amazing, and it was a wonderful experience last meeting. It was 9:30th meeting, and the theme was quite interesting. Zoom in and zoom out. The highlights of last meeting was that the best speaker, she is here in hybrid meeting. She's the only lady here. So let's give a big round of applause. Toastmaster Rabia Zishan stands the best speaker. Then we have best critic speaker goes to Toastmaster Mansoor Ali. And then we have the table topic speaker, Toastmaster Noreen Fatma. Then we have best speech evaluator, DTM Shahrukh Shanabaz. And we have general evaluator, the big four role, that is Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. And finally, we had best facilitator, Toastmaster Kareem Meghani. He was the timer in that meeting. So it was quite a good learning experience. With that, I would like to hand the charge back to our president, Toastmaster Tawar. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Education Imran. Since we have only one guest here and he already knows about Toastmasters, I will skip over the part where I introduce Toastmasters to save time and get the meeting on track. How magnanimous of me. I deserve a round of applause for it, but anyway. I didn't mean that. Okay. Okay. So yeah, a Toastmaster relinquishing the chance to be on stage is something that is to be recorded in history. Anyhow, so today we have the honor and pleasure of having someone who I think is truly an extraordinary person as our Toastmaster today. She is a relatively recent Toastmaster, but in a short spell as Toastmaster, she's serving as Vice President Public Relations of TCF Toastmasters Club. She is one of its founding members and also one of its most active members. In fact, she is the de facto VP Education as well. And those who have been VP Educations or those who have been de facto VP Education, they know perfectly well what I'm saying. She is also an exceptionally active member of Karachi Toastmasters Club itself. And she is going through her pathway in a very, very calculated and deliberate manner, the way it should be done. Not only that, she only day before yesterday delivered a keynote address at Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club San Francisco, where she was invited to speak. So she is, mashallah, going places, and she's taking both our clubs, Karachi Toastmasters Club and TCF Toastmasters Club, to those places as well. It is an honor and privilege to welcome her as in her debut role at Karachi Toastmasters Club as Toastmaster of the Day. So everyone, please put your hand together for Toastmaster.
She is mute. TM Rabia is mute.
Can you kindly unmute yourself?
Yes.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Talha, for that wonderful and amazing introduction. I am feeling even more nervous now to do this role today. And I think one thing is the Failure Cup Growth Director. So to start the day, fueled by failure. Failure is nothing but lessons and motivation and fuel for the winner. Have you ever failed? What is the best thing about failure? Why do you think it is important to fail?
Everyone now tell you on your
Is
page.
someone answering?
It is continuous and relentless.
The one thing which a human being, one of the most important senses of a human being is the ability to feel and sense pain. When we feel pain, we know that we have done something wrong, and that is our failure, and we learn from it. A fall or holding a sharp object, or banging our head on something, or dropping something on our foot. Ouch. These are the ways children learn how not to repeat these things again and move on in life. Until and unless we feel pain and we go through failure, we will not know, we will not learn how to move forward in life and how to succeed. गिरते हैं शहसवारी मैदान जंग में, वो तिफिल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. We should not be collapsed by failure. And failure is just like losing a battle, which will give us a strength to win the war. Now, coming to our Toastmasters meeting, it is divided into 3 segments. First, we have the prepared speeches. Then we have the table topic sessions. And then last, we have the journal evaluation session. I'll just be taking this. To let the proceedings of the meeting go, we have few facilitators who will be facilitating us throughout the day. And I would like to introduce them to you now. For our word master, we have Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, we have brought some innovation in the role, and we bring word master. We have brought word plus the phrase of the meeting. The word of the meeting is collapse. The meaning of collapse is suddenly fall down or give away. I have a very interesting sentence about that, about the word of the day. Due to bad weather, we thought our hybrid meetings collapsed, but the door burst open and we saw Toastmaster Rabia. And our morale once again went high. So use word of the day as many times as you can, and the phrase of the meeting is fight a losing battle. Fight a losing battle. The meanings of this phrase is trying to achieve something but are not going to be successful. The sentence is, it looks like I'm fighting a losing battle trying to get a raise from my boss. Trying to get raise from my boss. So these are the word and phrase of the day. So I request everyone to use the phrase and word as many times as possible, and there will be a claps for you guys. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran, for giving us the word of the day and the phrase of the day. Next, our role is the grammarian, and for that we have distinguished Toastmaster Shahrukh Shahnawaz.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I am the job is to put down good uses of grammar and the areas of interest, and to submit my report to the general evaluator in the evaluation. Thank you. Back to Asgar.
I must say that I am really liking the sound of the claps in the physical meeting. So it's a pleasure. For our timer, we have distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. First of all, I hope I'm audible. Okay.
To us, you are.
So it is my job to time all the speeches, table topics, evaluations in the meeting, and also try to keep the meeting on track time-wise, which is something we traditionally struggle with. So I'll be using 2 methods for timing. For those on Zoom, I'll be, in fact, let me try this. Who can see the colors correctly?
Easy.
Obviously, you guys can, but I think no.
No, I was seeing this.
I think I was told that on Zoom the colors are not displayed correctly for these lights. So instead, I will be using the Zoom gap background. So for example, if a speech is 5 to 7 minutes, I'll be on 5-minute mark. I'll be showing green, on 6-minute yellow, and on 7 minutes red. Same goes for table topics 1, 2, and 1, 1.5, and 2, and for evaluations 2, 2.5, and 3. For the physical attendees, I'll be using these lights again: green, yellow, and red. In case you overshoot your time by 30 seconds, in all cases, you will be disqualified from being voted upon for best speaker or best evaluator or best role player. So with that, that was my role. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Talha. Our next role is our counter, and it will be explained by TM Ali Ashar.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rabia, Toastmaster of the day. Today, my role is a bar counter, which is to count the filler words like sir, and I will give my report at the end of the meeting. So over to you.
Our next role player is the vote counter, which is Toastmaster Karim Meghani.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so I'll be doing the vote counting in 3 times. First, for the prepared speeches, I'll be floating the poll from Zoom, and I want the tech host to give me the access. But I don't see it on my Zoom. So maybe I will float a Google Sheet on the chat box, so you guys can put your votes there. Then, if I have, then the second time will be the table topics. And after the table topics, I will float again a Google Sheet on the chat box, so you guys can fill it. And also on the third time for the big 4 and the best facilitator. This is the all, yeah? Yeah. Yes. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Karim Meghani. Our next role is of listener, which is being done by Toastmaster Javed Bhatti.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Dear Toastmasters and distinguished guests, at Toastmasters, being a good speaker is very important, but it is equally important to be a good listener. So I'll be testing your listening skills today. I will note down any interesting tidbits of information, words, phrases, sentences, and at the end of the meeting, I'll ask you, are you guys paying attention? You will have to guess who said what. And at the end of the meeting, I'll present my report. Over to you.
I would like to thank our technical hosts, which are Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali and distinguished Toastmaster Talha Binab. And our last player is Joke Master. Do we have? Yes.
Yes.
So I'd like to call our Toastmaster,
Debate.
Joke Master of all the meetings, TM Hibarix.
Toastmaster Hiba, are you there?
Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, why is it a bad idea to insult an octopus? Why it is a bad idea to insult an octopus? Because it is well armed. Well armed. I'll repeat it again. Why is it a bad idea to insult an octopus? Because it is well armed. What makes a good pizza joke? What makes a good pizza joke? It's all in the delivery. And last one, why are ghosts such bad liars? Why are ghosts such bad liars? Because they are so easy to see through. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hibarix, for always giving us a good and amusing start. Now we move on to our first segment of the day, which is the prepared speeches. And I would like to confirm, are we going in the order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So our first speech is by Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali, who will be evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Samir Hamid. Samir Hamid. So please welcome DTM Samir Hamid.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rabia. Today, Toastmaster Latif will be giving a talk from his motivational strategies path. It's L3 second elective. The speech title is The View from the Middle Seat. And the purpose of this project is to start developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor, timing 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Latif.
I recognize that someone has to sit in the middle seat during the flight. But it happens for me all the time because my wife looks always the window seat and I, be the innocent guy saying I do, always have to sit in the middle. But that's not always. But when I'm trying to travel alone, there is a small glitch that how come I don't buy that extra $35 window seat and wait for a surprise. Surprise means who comes next to me is not my choice. But eventually, that middle class and middle seat is all the culture I've lived all my life. Toastmaster of the day, distinguished audience, I, not only being in the middle class, I'm a captured person in the middle of a road. If there are 4 sides of the roads, one way you can not escape, and that is the roundabout. Fellow friends, have you ever trapped and your friend helping you suggested that next time don't fall into trouble because you seem to be always into the roundabout. Without any traffic light, you keeps on falling into the troubles. Me, always into trouble, tried one more time. And this time I took a bank loan just to get safe of whatever the immediate expenses are. And friends, you will not believe that roundabout came over to me as I myself went and banged the car. Though my car was 1980s model, but the car which I banged in Kuwait was the most expensive. Trust me, for the next 2 years, I keep telling my mom, I could not find a ticket to travel for holidays. And to your surprise, you know what she said? What kind of travel agent you are? You cannot confirm your own seat. So these are my life stories. I cannot help myself away from that roundabout. Friends, you will not believe. Finally, I managed with all my expenses and savings, bought a ticket. I was excited, but we normally in Middle East try to use Friday and Saturday's weekend also, in addition to that 30 days. So after my work, I did the packing and my flight was after midnight. So I said, let me take a 1-hour nap. I finally woke up after the flight almost landed in Pakistan. I called my mom and said, Ma, sorry, I could not get my seat. She said, what kind of travel agent you are? I had to buy a lot of stuff when my son was growing, when I had to fulfill that youth in me for love and everything. And every time I used to spend money on second quality, which normally we say the first quality. And to my knowledge, every time I've been successful. One day, when I was just about to give her a gift and said that I have bought it from this great mall of avenues, unfortunately, that first-hand bill was in my pocket. So before I used to give a surprise, it was all fallout that she knows from where I have bought. As we all know, over here in Karachi, it is Tuesday market. Over there, it is Friday market. Anyhow, we get Rolex for 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees. Over there, also similar to those. Friends, these are not only the stories where I try to save myself and go and give my best. Even at my workplace, I put my all efforts. My manager says, "You don't know Excel sheet?" Friends, what is to do with the Excel sheet? I'm a travel agent. During my performance interview, I was being learned or being trained by my manager the formulas. So next time when I approached him, he threw me another bomb and said, "Today I will give you 1 mark less so that you can improve next year." And I never get that payroll hike. Anyhow, when I went and told my friend, "Brother, I never get success in front of my manager," he said, "Your story is always being in roundabout. So try to drive slow, or maybe don't enter the roundabout where you cannot escape." Friends, the only thing which I learned in my life is never stop trying. Though you are in roundabout, though I could not manage to sit in the flight, which even I confound by myself, does not stop me back. Let me celebrate each and every success I spent with my family, with my culture of middle class. No matter where you are born, life is full of fun. Enjoy. Over to you, sir.
That was an amazing speech by Toastmaster Lateef Mansoor Ali, and it has many things to learn from his life experiences as always. So I'll call the next speaker, who is Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary, and he will be evaluated by none other than our distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. Please welcome Toastmaster Talha.
Toastmaster Imran, yeah, are you there? Yes, you are there. Okay. So Toastmaster Imran has joined us recently, but he's not a new Toastmaster. He has been with Karachi Toastmasters Club a number of years ago. And like many other wanderers, he has wandered around and finally come back to Karachi Toastmasters Club. So today he will be delivering his Icebreaker. And surprise, surprise, Icebreaker remains exactly the same as it was all those years ago. It is an introductory speech of 4 to 6 minutes, and you're supposed to tell us about yourself, your family, your life, your story, your ambitions, anything that helps you know you more. And in the meantime, you will make us familiar with yourself, and you will get familiar with the idea of speaking before an audience. In this project, we do expect a basic structure of a speech, but nothing much beyond that, because this is the first speech. So the greatest achievement in this speech is that if a speaker comes and we get to know them a little better. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary. And the title of the speech is Silver Lining. Silver Lining, Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary.
Thank you, Toastmaster Talha. Okay. That was the 15 minutes longest drive back home, as far as I can remember. 26-year-old boy who has events in his life confirming that he's a failure. When he secured a job as an engineer in one of the biggest internet companies in Pakistan, it was a big deal for him. Throughout his journey way back home, he could visualize the face of his father, how proud he would be when he hears the news. And that's all he could think about. You see, his father was a military veteran, an athlete, and a renowned journalist. And he was, without a doubt, one of the most charismatic figures. And the father had spent later half of the year making a man out of his boy. But that boy, sadly, was setting standards of contrasting mediocrity, if anything. But today was his day. Today, he was made. And he was sure to get a validation from his father that he yearned all his life. So the final turn to the last street leading towards his house, he feels it. Something was off, something wasn't right. He parks the car outside and sees so many other cars parked. Why? He steps inside. In the drawing room is all his close relatives. They don't say anything, so he climbs up the stairs, goes towards his parents' bedroom, opens the door, sees the mother. And the mother sees me watching my father lying on the bed, unconscious. Earlier that morning, he was taken to the hospital, diagnosed with cancer stage 4. On the way back, he was the pain was such unbearable pain that he had to be given special medications, which in turn induced him into coma. And for the rest of 3.5 weeks of his life, he never gained consciousness. My fellow Toastmasters, that was truly the darkest and most traumatic event in my life. But to handle it, I talk about it. And now I've talked to you about it. So for the next 7 years, as a network engineer, rendering services to several banks, Pakistan Police and Pakistan Army, I decided that it wasn't challenging enough now. So, however unorthodox, I made a contrasting career shift. And for 10 years down the line, as a national sales manager this year of a renowned company, I decided to resign again because sales was not as challenging as it used to be. And it's crazy. It's crazy. In fact, it should be cataloged as a disease, Imranophobia maybe. But I suffer from the greed of growth, and it never stops. So, I mean, don't make no mistakes. I have a huge set of failures in my life in various departments. But I think the part of my identity which I have come to respect is due to the traumas and tragedies in my life, which are not a lot, mind you. So there you go. I think the ice has been broken. And if you were to take anything from this verbosity, it's this. Most valuable part of your identity lies in the darkest corners of your life, or where you imagined there were all coals. My friends, I'm sure you will find diamonds. Thank you, Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran, for sharing that very personal story of your life and making us a part of your close ones and families. Moving on, we have our next speaker, which is Toastmaster Imran Rana. He will be evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Shahrukh Shahnawaz, and he is giving his the evaluated DTM Shahnawaz will explain his speech in detail.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I hope I am audible. Audible?
Yes.
So, Toastmaster Imran is going to present project presentation mastery level project understanding communication skills. The purpose is for the member of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles, identify his or her primary style. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share the impact of his or her style on others. The title for his speech is No One Size Fits to All Size. I'm a 5 to 7. Toastmaster Imran Rana, wish you all the best.
Wake up, honey, rise and shine. It's morning already. Get ready, your breakfast is served. I'm so inspired by your persuasive and inspiring skills. Today, I would like to give you a simple task. The task of teaching our children some good lesson. Today, I would like to see how you inspire them to behave like good, obedient children, just like our neighbors have. I don't believe it. Being wife, she is so nice. And she's not a Toastmaster. Assertive style of communication. Very impressive. On the other side, I'm a Spider-Man, and I will beat you with my deadliest web. Take that, you red piece of garbage tin. This is how Spider-Man throws its web. On the other hand, I am an Iron Man, and I will burn you into ashes. Take that, you loser. This is how Iron Man uses its laser on its enemies. I'm more stronger. No, I am more powerful. Yes, these are my two Super Marvel heroes fighting every day about being the best and strongest, dominating each other with their supernatural powers. Dominating style of communication. Suddenly, a sweet and melodious voice echoed the room. Shut up! Let me teach you who's the boss around here. Now that's called my wife, with authoritative style. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, you must be wondering how am I able to identify these different communication styles? No need to answer. Like every Toastmaster who has delivered understanding communication style project, I had to undergo a series of questions and identify what my communication style was. And got the following results. Supportive style of communication, 6. Analytical, 3. Initiative style of communication, 2. Direct style of communication, 1. Let me tell you what happened next when I applied those different styles in the following situation. It was a beautiful Saturday morning. I was sleeping late and enjoying my dream. Don't get me wrong. When you are a Toastmaster, you can't have Miss World in your dreams. You must be dreaming about, yes, Toastmasters meeting. My wife woke me up and gave me the task of teaching our children some school lesson. Since I had a vast experience of giving home tuitions, and some of my students are serving as doctors, engineers, and in the armed forces, I thought these are my angels, and it won't be an uphill task to teach them. So I decided to club my teaching and Toastmaster skills together and teach them some good, valuable life lesson. As I scored maximum marks in supportive style, so I decided to tackle them with this communication style. You know, children have a unique habit of making mess while working. And my son, who is fond of dinosaurs and crocodile, he was not working. Actually, he was drawing his favorite dinosaurs here and there. I said to my son, look, son, we can have artwork only if you finish your work. He stopped drawing and started writing again. After a few seconds, he again stopped writing. This time, he started asking several questions about his favorite superheroes and supercars. This time, he's not alone. His younger brother joined him too. Initially, I answered their questions, but soon I realized that these angels are not angels. They are too smart to handle. So I decided to change my communication style from supportive to analytical and went all in with reasoning. But children are always children, and their brain works as fast as supercomputers. They write few words and they stop writing, and they started a series of lame excuses. Baba, I'm thirsty. I need a glass of water. Baba, now I want to go to washroom. Please come and wash me. Baba, now we are hungry. Could you give us something to eat? Baba, Hamza has taken my pencil. Now I cannot work. Baba, we are tired. Let's play. Etc., etc., etc. Both of them have started working together as a team, and they were driving me crazy. I realized why my wife was so sweet and generous while giving that task to me. I wish I could have said yes to dusting, to cleaning, or even said yes to cleaning the bathroom. But what happened next? I decided to change my communication style and directly jump to direct style of communication, leaving all the initiatives behind, which could be happening if I went to the initiative style of communication. So I told my boys, look, son, stop making fuss around here and focus on your work. Next time, I won't say a single word. My hand will speak. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, we cannot go around with a same unique personality. We have to be a different person for different people. No, this is not a hypocrisy. That is presenting yourself to service in the best possible manner. As I've learned that my main communication style are supportive and analytical, but I have to be initiative and direct as well as the situation demands. The success in communication is not comes from imposing your communication style over others, but it comes from forgetting yourself and understanding your audience. Having learned that with my children, I have to become a child. With my students, I have to become a student. With my wife, I have to forget it. So there's no one style fits to all sizes. There must be a one situation and a varied style from sentence to sentence. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Imran Rana, for giving me an idea how to explain to my husband why I have used my direct style when I'm speaking to my children. So let's move on to our next speech. And our next speaker is myself, Toastmaster Rabia Dishan, and I will be evaluated by Toastmaster Ali Hussain Babar. Is he available?
Yes.
His name is there. That's great.
Yes. Toastmaster Ali, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all are doing great.
Yes.
Ali Hassan back after a long time.
Yes.
And diving right into the evaluation, and Toastmaster Rabia Dishan will be presenting her presentation mastery level 5 elective project, that is servant leadership. And the speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes for the timer. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to apply the skills she needs to successfully lead in a volunteer organization. So the other purpose would be for the member to share some aspect of her experience serving as a leader in a volunteer organization. With all these project details, the servant leadership, I hand over the virtual stage to Toastmaster Rabia. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ali Hussain Babar. Servant leadership. I joined the Citizens Foundation in 2018. And I was of the view that I will be helping other people with my talents and with my potential. I was so wrong. It was totally the other way around. When I joined the Citizens Foundation, I did not have any professional background or professional knowledge. And the reason being, I got married very early. I was still in my 3rd year of graduation when I got married. And also, I had my firstborn when I was in my final year of graduation from the NAD University. I became a full-time mom and a homemaker, and that was by my choice and by my will. So when I joined the Citizens Foundation, and I was thinking, oh, I'll be giving my time and I'll be helping my nation and and I'll be giving something which I have acquired through my education from a very well-reputed school and a good university. It was the other way around. I would like to divide the things, the skills, and the lessons I learned during my service as a leader in a non-for-profit organization, that is the Citizens Foundation. The 2 categories are skills and technical things which I learned, and secondly, they are the things which I gained as a person, which were good for my personal growth. So I'll be starting with the first one. So when I joined and I started, the first thing which I came across were the Google Sheets. I had no idea what Google Sheet was, and I was so amazed and having such a good time because it was such an easy way to maintain ledger and to maintain the details which I was given about my fellow volunteers and the teams which I had to work. I had fun coloring the columns and marking and labeling. It was a new skill which I learned through this organization. Another thing which I learned was WhatsApp broadcast list. Not the WhatsApp groups, but the broadcast list. And it is an amazing, amazing skill which I am now teaching other volunteers who are working under me now. It's an amazing skill which I had never thought of before, and I have not even cared to search in the app what are its features and how we can use it more professionally. One more thing which I learned, ironically, being a computer graduate from NAD, were hashtags. I had no idea what hashtags were because I have not been in touch with the social media. I learned to use social media effectively for raising funds and for raising awareness about my NGO, that is the Citizens Foundation, and I learned to use the hashtags also. Another thing which I learned was to manage a group of more than 100 volunteers, and it was a skill and a task and an experience which I had never done before. In schools, we used to have groups and in universities, but there was only of 4 or 5 people. But to manage a group of 100 volunteers was a huge, huge task for me. And similarly, also one thing which I learned to use was the Easy Paisa app, because I had to tell my donors how to use the Easy Paisa app to donate. So this was a new skill which I learned. Although I really appreciate the Citizens Foundation for these skills which I have learned, these are not the ones which I cherish and hold close to my heart. The lessons I learned as working in a volunteer organizations are totally different, and which helped me grow personally. The first thing which I learned was humility. When I came and I met the students of the Citizens Foundation in the Rebel program, it was an amazing feeling. I also learned to use my potentials. These students and these children, they do not have much, but they still have huge dreams and big aims. And they made me realize that I had so much to offer and I was not doing enough previously. So that is one thing which I gained as a person, that I wanted to use everything which I have to give more to the society. Another thing which I learned as a person was patience. Imagine calling 200 volunteers with the same energy and the same enthusiasm and repeating the same content over and over again to all the 200 volunteers. It was a task which I learned, and it helped me because it was the first call for them, but it was the 150th call for me. And I had to speak in the same energy and with the same enthusiasm, because I did not want to lose even one of the volunteers due to my lack of enthusiasm and my lack of persuasiveness, because I felt responsible. That is another thing which I learned as a volunteer. Responsibility. When you join an NGO or you are going for a volunteer where you think that it will be less responsible because it's not a paid job and it's okay if you do not give time, or if you're not giving our 100%, I was so wrong. Now I was not only responsible for myself, I was responsible for every individual in my group, in my team, if they are giving their best or not. So, and one more thing which I learned was empathy. And the favorite thing which I'm still learning, and that is why I'm not leaving this organization, is continuous improvement. Every time I join a new cycle of Rehbar or a new cycle of Bagban, I learn something new, either from my fellow peers or from the person who I'm reporting to, or from the people who are working under me, or from the students of the Citizens Foundation. So these are the things and the lessons I learned as a volunteer when working in the Citizens Foundation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, TM Toastmaster Rabia, for that wonderful speech. And now for our next speaker, we have Toastmaster Asgar Ramzan, and he will be evaluated by Toastmaster Kareem Meghani. Both of them are amazing Toastmasters. Toastmaster Kareem Meghani, please, can you tell us the speech details of Toastmaster Asgar?
With pleasure. It's always a pleasure to evaluate TM Asgar, my favorite speaker. TM Asgar, as you know, he is one of finest speakers we have at KTC. One of the humorous, also very natural. Today he's doing his speech level 2 presentation mastery level. This is the pathway, and he will be talking about effective body language. And the way he's seeing me, I can see his body language right now. The title is God and Mothers. The purpose of this speech is that the purpose of this project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he or she use non-verbal communication when delivering a speech. So over to you, sir. Best of luck.
Mr. President and dear Toastmasters, some conversations are difficult, others are terrified. Few have a little combination of both. I have one such conversation with my father one day, long time ago. We were eating our lunch together, as we did most of the time in these days. I, shoveled the rice into my mouth with my finger and fixed my eyes to the ground, waited my father to initiate topic, as we younger were supposed to respond rather than ask. He all of a sudden raised his finger towards me and said, I wanted to talk to you about something for a long time, but we didn't get a chance to sit together. I said, of course, obediently, yes, Baba, go ahead. But as soon as we start our topic, some guests arrived and they interrupted our conversations. We ended up our conversation even without we had begun it. In the evening on dinner, we were together again. As I usually silently, broke the wilted naan and dived it into warm chicken soup in a sauce, he said, Asgar, I wanted you to marry. I responded with surprise, excitement, and confusion in the same moment. What? Wow! But with whom? When he mentioned the name of the girl I had to marry, I immediately said, no, Baba. But then I realized who I was. He could pull the rug under me with one wave of his finger. I was someone struggling to keep my head above the water and not even earning a single penny. So I decided to save the situation from collapsing. And I started to struggle to maintain at the very least the status quo of an obedient child. So I took a 180-degree turn. I kept silence and showed a fake smile. And I said, Papa, let me think for 3 days. And he said, Asgar, I'm not asking you. I'm informing you about my decision. Now, I was, I froze there as if someone called me freeze. I later on realized that my body could move. I was just nervous. So I tried to relieve my tension and started to thinking, what should I do now? And I sat down for a few moments and just looked the ceiling without saying anything. And actually, I needed the God to rescue me. I didn't see the God coming, but the help arrived. All of a sudden, an idea struck me. What the Imran Chaudhary called the silver lining. And the moment I realized that I'm going to win this battle, I sat down and fashioned a response to execute my idea. I, for the first time, seriously felt the need of my mom since my diaper days. The reason was simple. Unlike TM Latif, Previously, I had thought that the moms was burden for their grown-up children. I couldn't be more wrong. What I didn't know then and do know now is that never underestimate mothers who have grown-up children. Dear Toastmasters, to cut this long story short, I married from my own choice, in his expenditure, in his presence, in a home built by him. We, however, generous enough to allow him to wear a fake confidence smile while receiving the guest. And he also had the luxury to convey the impression of a powerful, independent man and a head of a family. But now, he stopped informing me. He merely asks me. Now, as I mentioned, that thou eventually help arrived, but I didn't exactly see the God coming. So I was a little perturbed. But then a proverb came to my rescue, which says, God couldn't be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers. God bless them. Over to you.
It's always a pleasure to hear you speak, Toastmaster Asgar, and you have a way to give a very important message in a very light and humorous way. Thank you for doing that. Our next speaker for today is Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, and he will be evaluated by Toastmaster Javed Bhatti. So I would like to call our evaluator, Toastmaster Javed Bhatti.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. The next speaker is someone I really admire. Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum is delivering a level 2 project, Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. The speech title is Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. And the purpose of this speech is for the member to clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring, and the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a prodigy. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. Toastmaster. Good evening, Toastmasters. As you all know, that my favorite subject is chemistry. But today, I am going to discuss about physics. You all know that we have laws of motion. So do you know what is the second law of motion?
Every action.
Momentum. Yes, it's about momentum. That's great. But what is the first law of motion? It's about inertia. It says that anybody would be either in a state of rest or moving. We keep doing that thing until or unless a force from outside hit and change something. It's quite boring because I am not a student of physics. Actually, I am a student of social science. So let's talk about society. But I believe that science also has some connection with the society. And what is that connection? If we are doing the same thing repeatedly, so we will not move. And we need an external force. So we can do something new. And what can be that force? Let's go back to my childhood, where I was in a festival at third or the fourth row, and I want to see the show, but I was a toddler, I could not see this. Suddenly I feel that someone is lifting me up, and I was acting against the gravity. And my father put me on his shoulder so I can see what I could not see before. So at that moment, I realized that if I want to see something with a broader vision, so I need a force against the gravity. The force that is doing something and always falls me down, and I always collapse. So, Toastmasters, when I move ahead, I just observe the same phenomena in my life, even in the Toastmasters, that I have a mentor who pushed me when you are going to deliver your icebreaker. Someone who guide me, assured you deliver a very good speech, but you can improve your grammar. And for that, you should read aloud while reading. That thing really touched me. We always said behind every successful man, there is a woman. But no one said that behind, under every successful man, there is a mentor who is lifting him up. Just imagine the great personalities, Rumi, Bill Gates, Aristotle, all are standing on the giants. Bill Gates was standing on the shoulder of Warren Buffett. And interestingly, the Alexander the Great, who is achieving the milestones that were just like fighting a losing battle. Something to conquer around the half of the globe. And what? And he was mentored by the Aristotle. And who was mentored by the Plato? And who was mentored by the Socrates? The long chain, which means to conquer the world, we need a series of mentors. And that's called the sustainability. To sustain something for a long time, we need a strong relation between the mentor and the protege. In Toastmasters, mentors are like a catalyst. As I love chemistry, catalyst is something that involves in the chemical reaction without affecting it. So mentor is just involved in our speeches, our delivery, and all such things, and making us what we are today. And similarly, I have a mentor who have a mentor, and he is right here. So he is my grand mentor. So in Toastmasters, we all are very we have a good association with also because we are here to lead, to change the world, to change the perception of the people and build a positive learning experience. And so mentors are one who shape the people who shape the world. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum. And I would agree, especially Karachi Toastmasters is full of mentors. And I know that because I have been contacting a lot of you and disturbing a lot of you since I have joined Toastmasters. So thank you for the mentorship which Toastmasters offer. Moving on, we have, do we have?
Yes.
Okay. So our next speech is by Toastmaster Muhammad Azhar Khan, and he will be evaluated by Toastmaster Ali Ashar Azhar.
I have to do this thing again.
Yes, you have to do it again.
So my target speaker is Toastmaster Muhammad Azhar, and he is on his pathway of a strategic relationship, and he is going to deliver the same project which I had just delivered. So so you all know what are the purpose of the speech that Toastmaster Azhar is going to deliver a project which includes how he perceives mentoring in Toastmaster and some of the aspects of his previous experience as a protege. So over to you, Toastmaster Muhammad Azhar.
Okay, now we are on a stage. Our life is like a stage. It's a wide platform. But sometimes I'm afraid of this. It's scary. It's not easy for me. It's a long time back, once I shared my feelings with my friends. He suggested to me, Azhar, you're a designer. You are working in the advertising industry. If you want to be a leader, so you could join the Toastmasters, where you will be a good leader and good communicator. He suggested me, and I joined Toastmaster World. I'm afraid of this place. It's my feeling, such a like scary place where people see me like this. I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm doing. But people is like clapping. I don't know. They are giving us some appreciation and they are beating my face in my palm. I was thinking this is a place where I get communication pills. Where I take one by one on a daily basis and I will be a good communicator, public speaker, an excellent leader. But no. They don't give the pills. They give the injections. All time you just check your WhatsApp and be alert what's your role is next. And where are your VPR, where are your responsibility, there is your other speech, there is any time you're alert like an army man. I don't know, I'm a speaker or I'm a soldier, but I'm ready for every action. Once I ignore the ones my cell phone and ignore or leave it in. Suddenly after 5 minutes, someone called me, Azhar, check your WhatsApp. Why? Because now, right now we have wrote your name in the WhatsApp group, please reply to us. Once I just ignore them and call, okay, oh. So this is a very hard place, but it's a good. Okay, that's my I'm sharing my feeling. Then I joined the Toastmasters. Officially announced Mr. Ghulam Qadir, Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, will be a mentor of mine. After a few weeks, he called me. Asgar, hello. Yes, sir. Yeah, buddy, I'm inviting to my mentees. You and Wajahat coming on a dinner. Then don't listen. I shocked. After a few weeks, okay, go outside, take dinner. Oh, change environment. During call, I was thinking chicken, mutton, ice cream, and with dishes, awesome dinner. But suddenly my mentor said, during dinner, I will guide you about the Toastmasters. I was thinking about the dinner and said, okay. So, sir, what will I do? During dinner, you guide us. Okay. Again, very next day he called me. Vajaj is not receiving the call. I think he cancelled the dinner. Obviously. That was a Toastmaster teaching dinner, not a beauty contest and youth activity discussion. Anyway, bye mentor values. Very bad. If I'm talking about to my VPPE, sorry, virtual program related. No, just education. We are vice president of education. He's very hot guy. Toastmaster Imran. It's up to you how you can take my dialogue. He's a very powerful person. He all time asks about the speech, role, and pathway. He gave us a Google form. I filled it, and he cancelled. As per his policy. I don't know why, but I filled the all-time check. Just yes. I will be good, take responsibility. But suddenly he cancelled and said, okay, I cancelled some your role, and now you changed. Okay, no problem. It's some feelings from my mentor and my VP. But actually what? Now I'm sharing my real feelings regarding my mentor and my Toastmaster world. I learned a lot. I know one thing, and I got after this world, I got one thing. Practice in public speaking before an audience will tend to remove all fears of the audience. Just a practice in swimming will lead to confidence, the facility in the water. You must learn to speak by speaking. Public speaking. What is leadership, empowerment? After Toastmasters, I realized what's happening and where should I go? What should I do right now? We have the different approach and perspectives. But this place I got, how can we have you good mentor, good leader? What is your strategy and planning? So, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Toastmaster investors, this is 1 year my journey. I'm asking one question, and you evaluate yourself about me. If you watch my first speech and now this speech, you compare to yourself and give. After that, you can suggest me where I'm standing at the end. Over to Toastmaster fellow.
Master Asgar. And I must say, during your speech, I was thinking you are going to collapse the mentorship of Toastmaster, but in the end, you just turned the table around and proved what mentorship is in Toastmasters. This brings us to the end of the prepared speech session, and it was a wonderful series of speeches today, I must say. And now we come to our second session without delaying any time. It's the table topic session, and our table topic master for today is Yes. Thank you so much for reminding me that. I would like to ask the timer, is everyone qualified for the voting?
Yes, everyone is qualified. Toastmaster Imran Rana exceeded by 1 second, but Actually, I changed one of the lights 2 seconds late, so can't blame me. So yeah, everyone is qualified.
Okay, so I would like everyone to vote now for the prepared speeches, and Toastmaster Kareem Meghani will be floating the Google Forms.
Yes.
And for the
Wow, it's already there.
and what about the viewers? Yeah.
Toastmaster Kareem also floated on the club's WhatsApp group.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, done.
Yeah.
Should I continue?
You continue. You can do it later.
Okay.
Not going anywhere.
We will start our table topic sessions now without further ado. And I would like to call our table topic master, distinguished Toastmaster, Shahrukh Shahnawaz. Please welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I hope I am audible. Can you please confirm I am audible?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Thank you. So, thank you, Toastmaster of the day or Toastmaster of the evening. Well, as we all know, table topic session, at least for me, represent the two spirits of Toastmasters because we are asked to speak then and there as soon as we are assigned the topic. And today I hope that I will try to keep up with the spirit of the meeting as well as the theme. The theme for today's meeting is fueled by failure. So let us explore this theme, and I would like to ask our first speaker. The topic is failure is the part of life. How do you relate to this statement? Failure is the part of life. Toastmaster Shamam, are you with us?
Gigi, I am here. So were you keeping an eye on me? I was trying to hide behind the camera, just trying to get into the flow again. It's after a long time.
Well, actually, yes, you are right. You caught me. I was trying to look for you. Well, the topic is yours. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, so the failure, what was the topic again? Sorry?
Failure is part of life. How do you see this statement?
Okay. Thank you, DTM Shahrukh, for this wonderful topic. Whenever I think of failure, the first thing that comes to my mind is that failure to me is only about the organs. Heart failure, kidney failure. Other than these failures, I mean, there you cease to, you cease with these failures. But with other kind of so-called failures, I feel it might be you are collapsed for a while, but it's not failure. With all those disappointments, with all those, getting into the downward graph, with all those things where you expect to prove you or to someone else that you are the best, and you may not be able to do it. I don't call those failures. So all these things that I have just quoted are the things that have made me go faster. I find these kind of challenges or falling down. I just feel more courage to get up and get going. So whatever disappointments or challenges I have faced, first, I don't call them failures. Second, they were all to actually give me a boost to do my better. So that's how I relate to the thing. I don't use the word failure again, but that's if that is a failure, if that is, then it has always fueled me to gear up in a better way. And even then, if I'm not able to gear up, that's all right. I mean, I've not taken anything as a failure, like I said, that the failure is the only organs thing to me. So over to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shamam. Our next topic is failure a good motivation? Is failure a good motivation? I would like to now call Javed Bhatti. Javed Bhatti, are you with us?
Yes, he is. You mean our
Who is
champion?
all yours? Yes, our champion.
Thank you, table topic master. Is failure a good motivation? Of course it is. But in my Toastmaster journey, fortunately, I have not seen failures as yet. So, but in life, I have been through many failures. The first failure was when I failed in my inter exam. The second failure was when I failed in my graduation exam. And still I'm here, standing as a GM marketing of a textile firm and running my own company as well. So if I still talk to myself that if I didn't fail at those exams, at those avenues in my life, would I be able to reach where I have reached in my life? Absolutely not. Because I took the bull by its horns and I made sure that I never fail any exam again. So I passed those exams with supplementaries, and today I'm here. Over to you, Tabletop.
Thank you, Toastmaster Javed Bedi. It is always nice to listen to you. And this topic was specifically made for you because in our 2019 winning speech competition, I saw you losing in a meeting and winning the competition on the basis of the same speech. I can never forget that story. It is the best story and the best source of motivation for me. Moving on, our next topic is in case you fail in plan A, should you have a plan B? In case you fail in plan A, should you have a plan B? Toastmaster Saad, are you with us?
Yes, I am. A wise man once said, there's always an option B. And that wise man was Mr. Hunter Helmsley, aka Triple H. Hello, Toastmasters and guests. Life is totally unpredictable. Like at this moment, I was not that I was not planning to attend this meeting here, but my work got over early, and then I was like, okay, let's go and explore the beach luxury hotel after a very long time. But that was the plan. But the problem was rain was expected. People in my office were like, rain is coming. It's a storm coming. Be alert. Be alert. And this and that, everything. So what was my option B? When the rain came, if the rain came, and I know my car would have been totally off by then. Fellow Toastmaster and guests, I did not have an option B. In that point, but luckily, it did not happen, and I'm right here speaking in front of you. So over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saad. Well, he's saying that he was not planning to attend beach luxury meeting, but I think whenever there is an in-person meeting at beach luxury, Toastmaster Saad is going to be there.
Yes.
Mark my word. Whatever he says, I know him. He is going to be there in person and representing all of us who are unable to attend, or we are just being lazy, or we have some other good excuse. Next topic is slow and steady wins the race. How do you relate to this line? Slow and steady wins the race. Toastmaster Rabia, are you with us?
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master, for calling me. I'm sure people must be fed up of seeing me up till now, again and again. The topic is what?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. I was about to tell a story after the table topic sessions, and I got a very good opportunity to tell it right now and save time. When I will go back into my childhood time. When I was a very good student when I was in school. I used to come in the top 3 ranks. But when I was in class 4, we were introduced to a new subject, which was history, and I hated it. And I did not understand anything about it. I even remember the topic of that book, which was Fertile Crescent. It was all about how the people in the early ages did their farming and everything. It was midterm exams. The marks I received overall total were more than the student who came third. But in history, I got less than 50% marks, which is considered as fail. And I did not receive any rank, because if you fail in one subject, it's called, you do not qualify for the ranks. At that time, I started to pay attention to history, and I was very thorough. And I started to write each and everything our teacher used to tell us. I made projects, I made charts. I was very invested in history, and I wanted to learn. I think I learned the entire book by heart. So when the final exams came in class 4, I'm talking about class 4, I secured the 2nd position, but I was not more happy about that. I was more happy about the fact that I received a special certificate which said outstanding performance in history. So if you are slow and steady and you keep up with the aim and your goal in mind, you will always reach success. Thank you. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rabia. Splendidly explained. Our next topic is winning isn't everything. Do you agree? Winning isn't everything. Do you agree? Toastmaster Kareem Meghani, are you with us?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Winning is not everything. It's a very important, basically is one of the things which I'm discussing with my son these days. Because what I'm observing as he's growing up from this age, now he's 15, he doesn't like grades. He said that why you are comparing me with others? I have my abilities, I have my own skills, but I cannot compete with people with grades. And then, I was discussing this thing with my wife these days and in my office also, that how brilliant this child is, how beautiful his heart is, because he's realizing his potential from now. I'm saying that, I told my wife the other day, Saima, please don't expect that Kes will do really well, but he will in the school, but he will do really well in his life. Because the way he shared with me, I have a wish, and I will like all of you to pray for him that he will do really well. Because winning is not everything. It's what you become in the end. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kareem. Wonderful speech by you. Last topic for our table topic sessions today. Lessons should be learned from our failures. Lessons should be learned from our failures. Toastmaster Zora. Toastmaster Zora, are you with us?
I don't think so.
If Toastmaster Zora is not there, then we can call guest Faizan.
Toastmaster Faizan.
Maybe I'm also here.
Are you?
But you haven't paid 550 rupees. So we would like to call to guest Faizan.
I have to spend at least 15,000.
Is guest Faizan there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One second. Assalamu alaikum again. So today's topic is fueled by failure. Okay, so my the previous speaker just said something that winning isn't everything. That's true. It's absolutely true that winning is not everything. But I actually consider the same concept in a different way. I believe that winning is everything. You may be in a competition, you may be in a race, you may be in any certain situation where you want to win, but you don't win. So you should try to win something else. You may not have won the prize, you may not have won the trophy, but you can win the lesson. So this is how life actually works. You have to win something. Because if you consider your failure just a failure, it will become a list of failures. And that list of failures is always heavy. When you have a big list of failures, I failed that, I failed that, I failed that, I failed something, whatever in your life, but the list becomes difficult to carry in your life. So you have to be optimistic and find a way to consider your failure as a lesson. This is a true dilemma of life, that your loss is not a loss, it's a lesson. Consider every loss in your life as a lesson, which will completely turn your life around, and as it has turned my life around. I was constantly a poor student in my education years. I absolutely hated sitting in a concrete box, which we all call a classroom. I hated that experience. Honestly, I hated my school experience and the education system we have today. I never enjoyed it. I am more of an experience-driven person. I remember my second year of my school. For me, it was KG2 class. My teacher had started asking what you want to become when you grow up. So I was sitting on the right side, my left side of the classroom, and if you come around the class, if I was last in line. I was completely last in line. I was in the base, anticipating my turn. I was very excited to tell that what I want to become. Should I end?
Save it for the icebreakers.
So if our president or Toastmaster of the day allows me, I would like to assign a topic to Ali and Agar, if I am allowed the permission.
No, if Toastmaster Zohra is there, then you can allow Toastmaster Zohra.
Sorry, who would you like to assign the topic to?
Ali Hassan Babar requested for a topic.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay, so Ali Hassan Babar, so you have a topic. Why can't we win everything? Why can't we win everything?
Thank you, Toastmaster. I hope I'm loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay, great. I cannot win everything, right? I cannot win everything. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening, and good to see you all after a very long time. The reason I could not make it to the big meetings, as you all know, I have been really busy with my new career, new program. And what I learned over the years, and you know what, to get here to LUMS, it was not easy. And I had to try multiple methods to get to this, to what I wanted to achieve. It was not easy. And when I look back at my career, I have been through a lot of good jobs, a lot of low profile jobs. It has been a mix of a roller coaster of all the jobs. But ultimately, when I made it to LUMS, I realized that it's not just the winning that matters. I think it's the struggle, the effort behind that matters. at my the point of career I was at, I was having a good job in Karachi. I was well settled in Karachi. I had everything covered by the government, but but the struggle that I continued for my better career, even better options for career, that never stopped. And ultimately, Alhamdulillah, I am here where I wanted to be. I am online from the hostel of Lams, in case you don't know. And I think ultimately, after achieving Alhamdulillah a lot in my life, I realized it's not the victory, the win, the shield, the allocates that matter. It's more about the struggle that you have put in. That is more satisfying and more pleasing to you. And ultimately, that is what decides what you get in the life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali Hassan Baba. So with this, I would like to wrap up our session today. And I'm really happy for all the participants for taking the chance and speaking from their hearts, because I believe that good speeches are always spoken from our hearts. With this, I would like to hand over the charge to Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharu, everyone, even Toastmaster Imran.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Voting. Yes,
Yeah,
I was going to ask about the
yeah.
voting.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone is qualified. Yes. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You can continue.
Why should we fail?
Because we don't prepare for.
To fail again.
We didn't prepare for. We didn't prepare.
Sometimes there's no alternative.
I think that is how we learn.
That's how we learn. That was one of the reason I was about to give. And one more, after hearing all the speeches today, we have a story to tell. So I would like to get to the third segment and the final segment of our meeting, which is the evaluation segment. And I would like to invite our general evaluator for the day, who is Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan. Please give a round of applause to Toastmaster Hiba Rais.
Hello, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for the introduction, PM Rabia. Am I audible? Okay. Evaluation is an important part of Toastmasters. It is because evaluation helps us become a better speaker. A good critical feedback / evaluation helps to build an educational program, assess its achievements, and improve upon its effectiveness. The general evaluation segment is divided into three parts. First will be the prepared speeches, in which I will call upon the prepared speaker evaluator. The second will be the table topic evaluator, in which I will call upon the table topic evaluator. And in the last part, I will call upon the role holders. So for the first part, I will call upon DTM Talha and TM Imran. Correct me, TM Latif Mansoor Ali. And I call upon his evaluator, DTM Samir Hamid, to give the report.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Haba. Sorry?
Yes.
No. So please continue.
Please, okay. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Heba. Well, Toastmasters, the thief entire project was about, being in the middle seat, being middle class. I like the way you started about, I remember, basically about being in the middle seat. However, that didn't really give the whole gist of your project. You could have said that middle class, middle of the road, middle everything. Do you know that middle is my family name? And then started off why the whole thing of middle came along. Then I love the story of your sitting in the middle seat because of your wife. But I think that you could have built it up, have a whole anecdote of how you were maybe like, there I was with my wife. We were going to go to Malaysia for vacation, and it was going to be a 7-hour flight from Dubai. And as I was sitting there, the whole plane was crowded. But the seat next to me was empty, and I was so happy. I said, "Oh my God, now I can relax." And just as the doors were closing, this huge fat woman who was as fat as 5 Latifs, walked in. And I looked at her with horror. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And of course, she came and sat next to me. And she was snoring the whole time with her arm across me. And I was saying, I love my wife. All I could say is, I love my wife. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Maybe, build it up in that way. That would have, added a bit more flavor. The whole anecdote would have added a whole flavor of being in the middle seat. And also, I enjoyed the story of your coming to Kuwait and not going home for 2 years, and your mom saying, "What kind of travel agent are you?" Again, I think if we had added a bit of, in the Urdu words, mirch masala dialogue with you and your mother, I think it would have, been wonderfully funny, because one can relate to how mothers talk to their children, Asian mothers. And then again, when you spoke about the gift to the family, the Rolex 500 rupees, again, some dialogue about how your wife found out what the cost and, the things you had to go through. You jumped then into the workplace and Excel sheet. However, I felt that transition was slightly, I think it really didn't, play as per other transitions. And also, when you spoke about middle class, maybe you could have said that how middle class were we? Well, the rolling pin. My mom used to make chapatis. We used to squeeze toothpaste out of the tubes. And then she also used to threaten us. So 3 things, we are Asians. We keep on using the stuff again and again. And then you could have had other funny stories about your being in the middle class. Like one day I saw this ice cream container in the freezer and I said, "Oh my God, ice cream." And I opened it and it was chopped garlic, because we are middle class, we reused everything. So things like that, I think a few anecdotes would have, even made it funnier. I loved your stage presence, your posture, your body language and eye contact. I think you're a master at that. And on the whole, fantastic project. I liked it. Well done. Over to you.
Yes. Now I would like to call upon the TM Rabia Zishan's evaluator, TM Ali Hasnain Babar. So over to you, TM Ali. Over to you, TM Ali.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hiba. Once again, taking the charge of virtual stage, and I'll be evaluating Toastmaster Rabia on the topic servant leadership. The story you told, the experiences you shared, honestly, I had a lot to we had a lot of common ground. I could relate to all of it. You joined Toastmasters because you thought you would contribute to the learning of the children, and then you realize it's actually the other way around. Let me share my story as well. Back in 2019, in February 19, I also became part of Rubber Cycle 35. And I also went with the same idea in my mind. But the reality is actually the other way around. I can totally relate to what you have been through. And the story you started from the problems you faced in life, in your career, and then how you went from zero in a lot of skills to achieving the high level in those skills. That was amazing. I would like to highlight a few areas that you excelled at, and a few areas of improvement. Although in your case, it was not easy to come up with areas of improvement. I would say your body language, it was open. You covered a big stage, a virtual stage, and we could see your body movements, which were very clear, and that was amazing. Your facial expressions were very much clear. Since you had a very reasonable distance from the camera, we could clearly see all your expressions, and that kept us engaged. I think the consistent smile on your face, your overall posture, everything was perfect, and that contributed a lot to your wonderful speech. It was very hard for me to come up with any area of improvement. So just suggesting 2 areas, taking it from already high level to the pro level, just consider these 2 recommendations, 2 suggestions. Vocal variety, a lot of us struggle with vocal variety, including me as well. But you can always work on it and make yourself more influence your audience more with more vocal variety. Try to focus on that. You already have a good decent amount of it. Just take it from this level to this level. And another thing that can make you from very good to pro, I think the pauses. That is very important. That is how you let the audience absorb what you said. And that is what I think differentiates a very good speaker from a pro speaker. Just work on these two things. I think rest is all fine. One minor thing regarding the virtual speech, the distance, distance on your right and left was not equal. You were probably a bit like this. A lot of the other space was empty. Try to maintain equal distance on both sides. That would add more expertise to your speech. Then the skills you learn, the Google Sheets, managing hashtags, managing team of 100+ volunteers, the referral program, that was all I think I could relate to at some point in life. I have also been through the same. And I'm really impressed by how you have been growing through your career, even after becoming a full-time mom, a working lady, and doing all these activities, all the house activities along with this. You are giving time to Toastmasters. That is really amazing, and that is something we all need to learn from you. I wish you all the best with your career and your learning in public speaking and leadership skills. I think you are a role model for not only the ladies, but for gents as well, for students like me as well. We need to manage everything side by side and reach a level you have already reached in terms of public speaking. Looking forward to more high level speeches from you in the future. Thank you so much.
Moving on, I would like to call upon TM Muhammad Azhar Khan's evaluator, TM Ali Ashar Anjum. So TM Ali Ashar Anjum, please present your evaluation report.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster. Evaluation. First of all, I must say that I don't know the topic of your speech, so I am going to suggest it, and that would be the dark secret of mentoring. The thing is, you were just amazing. Your timing, your body language, stories, your enactment, how you using the phone with your hand, and that was a bit relatable to all of us to an extent. And I think you just delivered a very good speech. The way you started, you just mess up with the ideas, and then in the end you just hold it like a concrete with an idea, and that all we can take away today. So where you can work on, I think the structure while speaking, good structures can enhance your speech quality. The language itself, you can work on it, and you are working on it as you just ended to with the same thing, that this is evident that your journey is amazing, and it is an inspiration for all of us. So that's all from my side. Over to you.
Okay, moving on. Now I would like to call upon TM Imran Chaudhary's evaluator, DTM Talha bin Ahmed. So DTM Talha bin Ahmed, can you please present your report?
Okay, and yeah. Toastmasters doesn't need to be told. He automatically detects what needs to be done. Okay, let me find it. Where is the okay. Okay. Toastmaster Imran is like, I need to see the speaker to make it. Okay. Toastmaster Imran word. I was unnerved by your speech today, honestly speaking. Before your speech, you told me that you were reluctant in having me as your evaluator. But I don't know what you were reluctant about. Because seeing you today, just rise up from the chair, coming onto the stage, and delivering the speech like a boss, completely collapsed my self-confidence. So congratulations. You had a great stance. You had your setup was very pleasant. You had a lot of space to move, and that is something that is very advantageous in these virtual meetings. You had such ease of movement potentially that we really didn't have a sensation of having to look at you to a screen. It was as if you were standing right there. So great start right off the bat. You have a very natural flow, and you use some stunning phrases during your speech. So, for example, something that really floored me was setting standards of contrasting mediocrity. I mean, setting standards of contrasting mediocrity. Those 4 words and a lifetime of experience in those 4 words. Absolutely amazing. You used the word verbosity. Your story was very engaging. And another thing that struck me was your complete honesty. Just like you were there right before us, sitting and with your whole body visible before us, we had the sensation that your life was visible before us, just like that. And you ended very beautifully. You said, I think ice has broken. And then you said, you went on to deliver an excellent life lesson, which had not the pomposity, not the verbosity, not the pretentiousness that we usually hear at the end of speeches. It was something coming right from there. So few improvement areas. At times, your voice was a little low. I felt you could have spoken a little bit louder. Your movement was too much vertical, to and away from the camera. Perhaps it could have been planned a little bit, and you could have done that very easily given the amount of space you had. So that was something that distracted a little bit from your narrative. You clasped your hands quite a bit during your speech, but I can't really knock it because a lot of us do end up doing that just to make sure that our hands are within the camera's range. So, let's remember that it was your icebreaker. You can also take the names of companies you work for. There's absolutely no binding on that. Unless you don't want to, that's another thing. So just a few improvement areas, pathetically few, absolutely wonderful speech. We'd like to hear you again and again. Can't wait to hear your next speeches. Over to you.
Toastmaster Hiba, you are next.
Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I was actually writing the last part of the evaluation, so I was just a bit lost. So TM, okay, the next speaker is TM Imran Rana, and I call upon his evaluator, DTM Shahrukh Shahnawaz, to give the evaluation report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hiba, our general evaluator. I hope I am audible. Am I audible? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So, Toastmaster Imran Rana, you presented your speech from Project Presentation Mastery Level 2, Project 1, Understanding Your Communication Style. The title of your speech was No One Size Fits to All Size. Well, to begin that you excelled at. To begin with, that it indeed was a very difficult project, and you have outperformed yourself, I would say. Smooth opening, great voice modulation. We saw you perform so many different different various voices. So I was surprised. I didn't know your hidden talent in this regard. Hand movements were great, and we learned about assertive style, dominating style, and authoritarian style. And as for my personal experience with you, you are a great persuader, and you have always persuaded me to take roles, to become a judge in contest, in speech contest. I know your communication styles, and yes, the best part of your speech was that you explained to us that how you are combining, or you have combined your teaching and your supportive style, and how it has impacted others, as your students or your friends or your colleagues. So that was the best example, and it was a great part of your speech. And the best use of pauses that I have seen in today's entire program. So that is sign of a mature speaker. So that was also there. You want to work on, well, I could not think about anything that you need improvement, except conclusion could have been much better. I felt that it was an abrupt ending. Besides this, I think, but I'm sure that you are a great speaker, because good speeches are from our heart, and great speeches are from a broken heart. And today you share your stories, your personal experience with us, which is the basic element of a great speech. So great speech, best presentation I have heard in a while, and congratulations on completing your project. Back to General Evaluator.
Moving on, I would now like to call upon TM Asgar Ramzan's evaluator, TM Kareem Haider Ali Meghani, to give his evaluation report. TM Kareem, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Just shifting.
Wants to win the best evaluator award. So, yeah.
I'm just shifting on the stage now. So. TM Asgar Ramzan, whenever I hear you, I told you in the last evaluation also, I start laughing, I start smiling. What a wonderful speaker you are. You know, you always make us smile. Your stories are so humorous, coming from your heart. Your stories are very natural. Today you talked about your father and your interaction with your father. I mean, when you were talking about your marriage thing, so I start remembering that how my father talked to me about my marriage. Probably it was a little different than yours, but it was a very interesting story. So you remind all of us that when marriage proposal came, and when you are 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, in my case 27, how you react. So thank you for bringing that memories back to us. Excellent. You know, you're supposed to do presentation mastery level 2, effective body language. I felt that your body language was telling us a lot of things. You are doing like this, you are doing like this, you are moving like this. But probably the technology, as I have a limited space, you may have a limited space. That's why you're not moving too much. But you were standing there, and you know, we were just looking at you, and I was trying to judge the body language. But I thought that, you know, when you were thinking, you said, okay, I'm thinking that what we'll do. My father gave me 3 days. What I have to do? Maybe if I had been in your place, I said, 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. Now what I will do? That's maybe one of the things. When you said about 180-degree turn, so maybe I will move my hand like this, probably. that can be a possibility. So, but your overall, what you're trying to give the message, it was really good. And, it was, we got the message that, how you can use your body really effectively when you're delivering your speeches. I think that, one of the improvement part is that when you pick a subject of the speech, like say that, God and mothers, you bring your mother in the end for like 2 or 3 sentences, if I understood clearly. I was expecting mother will come from the beginning in the story. Maybe that's my style. But that's something will bring add the value, because when I read the agenda and I said God and mothers, I was thinking about listening about my mother, but you start with your father. So overall, wonderful speech. You are always make us smile. You always bring such a nice message in your speeches. So in all the best for your level 2 and continue with your path. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Okay, moving on. Now I would like to call upon the last speaker's evaluator, TM Ali Ashar Anjum's evaluator, TM Javed Bhatti, to give the evaluation report.
Toastmaster Ali, you are fond of chemistry and you are studying social science. And today you taught us some laws of physics. Interesting blend. The highlights of your speech was the structure. I noted that it was perfectly balanced as per the guidelines set by the Toastmaster. There was a proper opening, transitions, main point, sub point, then a proper conclusion, a very strong conclusion, I must say. Mentors are the one who shaped the people and who shaped the world. Overall, the content was very gripping as well. You narrated 2 stories, one from your childhood and the other one from the Toastmasters journey. But in both the stories, there was one thing in common, which was a factor that was uplifting you against the gravity. There was a mentor who pushed you to deliver the icebreaker. There was a figure who lifted you to enable you to watch the show that you wanted to see. Behind every successful man, there is a mentor. There is a good learning lesson from all of us today. And another highlight of your speech was the use of the phrase of the day. That was very interesting and it was spot on, because when you mentioned the great personalities like Bill Gates, Alexander the Great, and you somehow used fight a losing battle. It was very, very well timed. So overall, I was impressed. There was one area of improvement, as always is. I think if you could have included an elaborative story from your journey as a Toastmaster and not just use briefly or just mention some good aspects of your mentor. I'm sure you have many interesting stories and experience to share with us. I emphasize this point because this was one of the major requirements of your project. Apart from that, I can say that you completed your project with flying colors. The movement of your body and the body language, the vocal variety, the content, the pace, and above all, the expressions. All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. With just a little bit of improvement, you can do better. Over to you.
Okay, moving on. Now for the second part of the session, I would like to call upon the topic evaluator, TM Asgar Ramzan, to give his evaluation.
Voting, please.
Oh, okay. So please vote for the best prepared speaker as well. Sorry.
Best evaluator.
Best prepared speak evaluator.
Sorry.
Yes. So Toastmaster always has the last word. You should know that. So okay, all the evaluators qualified today, except for Toastmaster Ali Hassan Babar, who spoke and spoke and spoke his way into his qualification. So Mr. Vote Counter, please float the and he exceeded 4 minutes. So yeah. So except for Ali Hassan Babar, all the evaluators are qualified. Please.
If we can pay 550 rupees, then we can consider for voting.
Okay, so now can TM Asgar Ramzan take the virtual stage?
Yes.
So TM Asgar Ramzan, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator. Thank you. Let's start from the first speaker. Failure is a part of the life. Team Shamam was the first speaker, and Team Shamam started from the salutation. The one thing we all know about Team Shamam, that she is getting more confidence, and even taking DTM Tala is a tough time, and we hope TM Tala be very careful. TM Shamam talked about failure and organ. She defined beautifully the failure and combined it medically and philosophically to elaborate her idea. And she didn't call things failure like failing in exams or not learning to drive a car like me. And she prefer to refer failure in a very macro level, in a grand philosophical way. And she had a great eye contact with confidence. And what I like most in her today's around 2 minutes speech is our language. The only thing is, I think it's a request for all evaluator. Since I'm judging you, you are not judging me, so you have to reserve your right about me. When we stand up and speak, we become more effective, despite of the fact that I'm sitting. But since right now I'm a judge, you can't judge, you can't deliver your judgment about a judge, especially a sitting judge. Second speaker was Javed Bhatti. Failure is a good motivation. The only the best thing about him is his posture. He was standing in front of the screen, and that increased the effectiveness of his speech. He talked it about lateral term, and he mentioned it that he faced supplies. I am in your league, but our similarities ended there, because then you become a successful one. I took an entirely different way. But anyway, thank you for taking your time, and thank you to inform us about the failure. The next speaker, the third one was Saad. Saad talked about the plan B, and then he elaborated beautifully. He said by saying that life is unpredictable. And what I like about Saad is as a hand gesture. I mean, perhaps he always tries to compliment as what he is saying, but doing so, he creates effectiveness the way he is telling the people about him. The only thing which someone, the best thing I like always in Saad, and he repeats it, that today, the use of his hand, the both hand, the way this further clears the message whenever Saad wants to say something about us. So the next was Faizan. Faizan, thou not spoke about the topic, but made his point by talking about the winning and not winning. Again, he was standing there, his standing postures, conveying his confidence, and used some very good words: dilemma of life, turning life around. The next was Ali Asnan. Ali Asnan again repeat the sentence that we can't win always, and he talked about his career and elaborate his point. The one thing I like him, he was more smarter than we saw him last time, and that smartness has made him more confident today. Slow and steady wins the race was the subject was taken by Team Rabia. Rabia started from salutation and she was standing. She started it in a very light way and she talked about the our subject, the ancient history, and then connect this how she started to learn her standing points, and her confidence somewhat conveyed me that people are becoming more confident than me and occupying the stage. So this is one of the message that TM Asgar has to do something more in order to catch things up. The next one was winning isn't everything. Kareem, it was your topic, and the one thing that you always know, the trick of the trade, you repeat the sentence to buy the time. And then you talked about your 15 years old son. You always, the one thing which I like, you always, talks professionally, as if somebody sitting in a stage in front of a people and challenging himself to be as systematically as possible. And that is what I like in you. But it's very bad to observe that the people are getting ahead from me. And you used some structure that it was what you become in the end. Thank you very much, pushing me in some area and creating challenge inside me. And this is the end from my side. Over to you.
Okay, moving on for the last part of the general evaluation. Now I will call upon the roll holders to give their report. So first I would call upon the grammarian, DTM Shahrukh Shanawaz, to give your report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hiba. I hope I am audible. So today we witnessed great usage of grammar, and I'm not saying it for the sake of saying it or for formality. Today I literally witnessed great usage of grammar. Life throws new experiences at you, at us, banging our head on something. The door burst open, so easy to see through, always in the roundabout. Today was his day. Validation he yearned from his father, however unorthodox, cataloged disease, and especially about Toastmaster Azhar and Ali Ashar's speech. The three triple A's. I forgot to take notes because I was so much mesmerized by all your speeches and the great use of grammar. And the best grammatically correct line spoken by Toastmaster Asgar was, "You can't judge a sitting judge." This has to be the best line I've ever heard in Toastmaster. It has so many meanings and so many interpretations, so you can't judge a sitting judge. As far as area of improvement, honestly speaking, I could not pick up anything except there was this one line when a speaker said people is like clapping. So it could have been people were or people are clapping. So best use of grammar, and Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary, Toastmaster Imran Rana, Toastmaster Asgar, Toastmaster Azhar, Toastmaster Ali Ashar. All of your speeches were great today. And today my entire page has got full and I could not stop noting down the good usage of grammar. So congratulations to our speaker. Back to General Evaluator.
Okay, moving on. Now I would like to call upon the timer DTM Talha bin Hamid to present his side of the report as the timer.
So first of all, as a timer, there were two major takeaways from this meeting today. The first was that the segments themselves were superbly conducted. Second is the built-in delays due to the hybrid setup and some unforeseen delays due to the technical faults. The meeting was supposed to start at 6:45, started at 6:55, not too bad. The initial the presidential session, fortunately this time stayed within time. opening segment by Toastmaster of the Day, debutant Toastmaster of the Day, was supposed to last for 10 minutes. She did it in 12 minutes. Again, good performance. There was a transition time between first and second speech of 8 minutes. The rest of the transition times were within 2 minutes, which is quite reasonable. The table topics exceeded the duration today, but not by much. The table topics actually lasted for 19 minutes, whereas they were supposed to last for 15 minutes. All that worked out to the fact that the general evaluation session was supposed to start at 8:26. It started at 8:48. So that makes it around 22 minutes late. Also, the table topics evaluator took 5 minutes 52 seconds for table topics evaluation. He took 1 minute and 40 seconds for the first speaker alone. But I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say that we treasured and cherished every microsecond. So the grammarian had a very crisp report of 1 minute and 36 seconds. Congratulations on covering so much ground. And I don't know, I didn't time myself. So there was a timer support. Other than this, as you saw earlier, all the speakers and table topic speakers qualified, and only one evaluator went over time. So excellent performance all around.
Moving on, I would now like to call upon the R counter, TM Ali Ashar Anjum, to present his side of the report.
Thank you so much, evaluator on screen. So here is my report. Toastmaster Rabia asked 7 times. Toastmaster Kareem 5 times. DTM Talha around 7 times. Guest Fazan 10 times. DTM Sameer 1 time. Toastmaster Imran 7 times. And end was a repeated word. Toastmaster Shamam 2 times. And the was the repeated word. Toastmaster Ali Hassan Babar 5 hours. Toastmaster Asgar 6 hours. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, moving on. Now I would like to call upon the word master, TM Imran Rana, to present his side of the report.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today we had word master and phrase. Word of the day was collapse, but fortunately we are not collapsed. Our meeting is successful, mashallah. Only Toastmaster Rabia used twice, and phrase of the day, that is fight a losing battle, was used by Toastmaster Rabia and Toastmaster Ali Ashar Anjum, so we'll give them a big round.
Okay, now I would like to call upon the listener, TM Javed Bhatti, to present his side of the report.
And Toastmaster Shamam also used collapse.
Okay, are you all ready?
Yes.
So let the test begin. Are you all alert like an army man? Yes. Who said that? Azhar. Toastmaster Azhar. Sales was not as challenging as it used to be.
Latif.
Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary. Failure is nothing but a fuel for a winner.
Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster of the day. I am an Iron Man, and I will burn you to ashes. Take that, you loser. Imran's son. Yes. Okay. The first things which I learned was humility. Toastmaster Rabi. It's more about the struggle. Toastmaster Ali. He is my grand mentor. Ali. Toastmaster Ali. Okay. Communication pills.
Azhar.
Making a man out of the boy.
Anybody? Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary.
Imran Chaudhary, yes, Toastmaster. Okay, I guess one more. Okay, life is totally unpredictable. Toastmaster Saad, yes. That's all from my side. Over to you, Ramzan.
Okay, now I would like to present my side of the report. The meeting started around.
Sorry, vote counter, please float the vote for best facilitator. And in the meantime, Toastmaster, you can continue.
Okay. The meeting started around 6:45. I joined late. However, since the meeting has yes, so I have to also present my flaws as well in front of the audience. I try to be honest. However, since the time I joined till now, the meeting has flowed smoothly without any technical glitches or any other problems. Overall, it was a pretty good, informative session for both the audience, speakers, and evaluators. And with that, I would like to hand back the charge to the Toastmaster of the evening, TM Rabia.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Heba Rais. I would like every one of you to now vote for the Big Four, which is the Toastmaster of the day, myself, Table Topic Master, Distinguished Toastmaster Shahrukh Khan Nawaz. We have the Table Topics Evaluator, our Toastmaster Asgar, and our General Evaluator Toastmaster Heba Rais Khan. And I would like to give the charge to our President, Distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hassan.
Thank you so much. And still continuing the role of timer. Picking up where we left off, our counter took 48 seconds. And our listener took 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And our general evaluator, who could have taken easily 3 to 4 minutes, he hardly took 1 minute. So everybody pitched in today, and the meeting was supposed to end as per the agenda on, I believe, 9:06. So congratulations, Toastmaster Imran, for first of all making a realistic agenda for the first time. Because we dare not put ending time after 9 p.m. no matter what. But you dared to do that. And at this point in time, we are around 33 minus 6, 27 minutes behind schedule. So that needs to be worked upon. Okay. So now over to the results for today. But let me first say one thing. Since I've been shared our vote counter has shared the voting pie charts with me, and today the competition is exceptionally tough. I know it sounds cliched, but I don't know the quality of the speeches today. All the 7 speakers, it's really seems unfair to crown a single winner, but it has to be done. So our winner for today is our winner for best speaker today is, to absolutely no one's surprise except Toastmaster Asgar. It's Toastmaster Asgar. By a good margin, considering the fact that all of the speakers received votes. And again, that's also a first in a KTC meeting. So absolutely fantastic job. Best table topic speaker. Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, best. Yeah. Drum rolls. Yeah, drum rolls. Yeah. Enjoy. Best table topic speaker goes conveniently to Toastmaster Kareem Megha. There's no one doubting your integrity, Toastmaster. It was just an evil remark. Best evaluator goes to, wow, interesting. It goes to ETM Samir. Yes. While the vote for best facilitator and best Big Four is shared with me, let me share the critics' choice. And yes, now today, since we have 7 speakers, it's good to share top 3. There were always top 3, but I did not share them because it kind of looked ridiculous when you had 4 speakers. So yeah. So today, 3rd place goes to, and this is potentially the most important award because this represents the criteria as per the International Speech Contest Panel. The 3rd place goes to Toastmaster Asgar Ramzan. The 2nd place goes to Toastmaster Ali Ashar. And the 1st place goes to Toastmaster Imran. I believe Toastmaster Imran is winning the Best Speaker Award for the 2nd time. And he also won last year when he last spoke. So yeah. So Toastmaster Kareem, oh God, yes, he has announced. You have made the poll public. You have stolen my thunder. You've taken away the one thing the president was supposed to do. Anyhow, I will announce it nevertheless.
Sorry, really sorry. Really sorry.
It goes to myself. And Best Big Four by a huge margin goes to our debutant Toastmaster. So really, just before finishing, I'll once again hand over the floor to Toastmaster Imran Rana. Yeah, I just thought you'd completed your pathway, but then I remembered it was level freaking 2. Yeah, anyhow.
Completed.
Yeah. So please, the stage is yours for any quick announcements, and then we can.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Talha. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, we are going to have our first Academy meeting on Saturday at 11 a.m. It's a 1.5 hour meeting, and there will be only 2 prepared speeches, and evaluation will be done in an advanced level. So those who are interested to deliver their projects on Saturday 11 a.m. morning, please send your messages privately to me so that we can have the agenda final. And our regular meetings will be on Wednesday, and we are planning to have the hybrid meeting. So for that we need 15 members to be present physically in Beach Luxury Hotel, so that we can enjoy the full essence of physical meeting. So with that, I would like to hand over the charge back to our president. And one more thing, since Toastmaster Latif in one meeting secured 3 best awards. So for that, we are giving him an honorary Toastmaster, Toastmasters medal. For that, I request our president to please do the honor. Those who would like to attend physical meetings, they can have that.
Yes. Okay. One last thing to do, and I would ask everyone to do something that has somehow become very difficult for us, especially in public. But please stand up. And everyone on Zoom also please stand up. Except we routinely give a standing ovation to our icebreaker. So today our icebreaker was Toastmaster Imran Chaudhary. So everyone, please stand up.
second speech.
So yeah.
So if you're a president, you're not supposed to do everything he says.
Okay. So with that, everyone, the meeting is finally adjourned. See you all, not next week, but this weekend. Thank you so much.
Amazing.